Hi, welcome back for the fourth session on the module 5, that is instance based learning, reinforcement learning and the evaluating hypothesis. First two sessions we have learnt on the instance based learning, and third session we have started with the reinforcement learning, and in the fourth session let's continue the reinforcement learning. Okay, so these are the contents that we want to check in today's session. That is one of the popular reinforcement learning, that is the Q learning here. So we want to study one algorithm, that is the Q learning algorithm, and we'll take up one example and then we'll see convergence. Okay, so in the previous session, that is session number 3, we have learnt the reinforcement learning task. So that is, an agent's main functionality is to learn the optimal policy. Okay, it has to make, for a given state, it has to perform some action, okay, in order to change the state. Okay, based on the change in the status, the agent will get the reward. Okay, now having these assumptions and having these understandings, let's study in this session the most popular reinforcement learning, that is the Q learning. In this case, we try to understand how an agent learn an optimal policy, that is pi star, okay, for an arbitrary environment. It is actually difficult to learn the function, that is the pi star, directly, because the available training data, they actually do not provide the training examples of the form s comma a, that is for a given state what is the action. Instead, actually, the only training information available to the learner is the sequence of immediate rewards. For example, r of s comma I for I equals to 0, 1, 2 and so on. Okay, with this given information, this kind of training information, it is actually easier to learn a numerical evaluation function which is defined over the states and the actions, and then implement the optimal policy in terms of this evaluation. Okay, and when you have this, what actually the evaluation function should the agent attempt to learn? One obvious choice, we can say, it is the V star. The agent actually should prefer the state S1 over state S2 whenever there is the V star of S1 is greater than or V star of S2. Actually, because the cumulative future reward will be greater from S1. Of course, the agent's policy, it must choose among the actions, not among the states. Okay, but however, it can use V star in certain settings to choose among the actions as well as so the optimal action in state S is the action A that maximizes the sum of the immediate reward r of s comma a plus the value V star of the immediate successor state, which is discounted by the value. Okay, so this is the formula that can be used, and if you recall that the delta of s comma a, it actually denotes the state resulting from applying action A to the state S. Okay, so when you have this, the agent can acquire the optimal policy by learning the V star, provided it has the perfect knowledge of the immediate reward function R and the state transition function delta. So when the agent knows these, that is the function R and delta, they are used by the environment to respond to its actions, then it can use this equation. Okay, so it can use this equation 3. It can use this equation 3 to calculate the optimal action for any state S. Okay, now let's learn the algorithm for learning the Q. Okay, so learning the Q function corresponds to actually learning the optimal policy itself. So how can we learn how can the Q be learned? So the key problem is finding a reliable way to estimate the training values for Q, giving only a sequence of immediate rewards R which are spread out over time This can be accomplished through iterative approximation. So that is the V star of S equals to max of Q of S comma A dash, okay, which also we can rewrite this in the equation 3 what we have seen, okay. So that can be rewritten as Q of S comma A equals to R of S comma A plus gamma of max of Q of delta of S comma A dash. So this recursive definition for Q actually provides the basis for the algorithms that iteratively, okay, approximate the Q. So to describe actually the algorithm, we will be using the symbol that is a Q cap to refer to the learner's estimate, or we can say it as an hypothesis of the actual Q function. So in this algorithm, the learner actually represents its hypothesis Q cap by a large table with a separate entry for each state action pair. The table entry of the form pair S comma A, it stores the value for Q cap of S comma A. So the learner's current hypothesis about the actual but unknown value Q of S comma A. So the table then can be initially filled with the random values, okay, though actually it is easier to understand the algorithm if one assumes initial values of 0, but the agent repeatedly observes its current state S, chooses some action A and executes this action, and then observes the resulting reward R equals to R of S comma A, and the new state S dash equal to delta of S comma A, and then it updates the table entry for Q cap of S comma A following each such transition. According to the rule, we can write it Q cap of S comma A, which is equals to R plus gamma of max of Q cap of S dash comma A dash, okay. Now the algorithm actually is given here. For each S comma A, initialize the table entry Q cap of S comma A to 0, okay, and then observe the current state S and do the 5 actions forever. That is, select an action A and execute it, receive the immediate reward R, then observe the new state S dash, and then update the table entry for Q cap of S comma A by using this formula. Q cap of S comma A, which is given as R plus gamma of max of Q cap S dash comma A dash, and then update the state here, okay. So Q learning algorithm for deterministic Markov decision process is actually described here, okay. It's been described by using this algorithm. Using this algorithm, the agent's estimate Q cap, it converges in the limit to the actual Q function, provided the system can be modeled as a deterministic Markov decision process. The reward function R is bounded and the actions are chosen so that every state action pair is visited infinitely often, okay. So let's take up one example in this case to illustrate the operation of the Q learning algorithm. Now in this case, consider a single action taken by an agent. Just for the simplicity, just take up a single action taken by an agent and the corresponding reinforcement to Q dash, okay. These have been shown in the diagram now. In this example, the agent actually moves from one cell to the right in its grid world and receives an immediate reward of 0 for this transition, and then it applies the training rule, okay, which has been defined just now, to refine its Q cap. For this state action transition, it just executed. So now according to the rule, the new Q cap estimate for this transition is the sum of the received reward. Just now it has received the reward 0 and the highest Q cap value associated with the resulting state, that is the 100, okay, which is discounted by the gamma, that is 0.9. Each time the agent moves forward from an old state to a new state, okay, Q learning propagates Q cap estimates backward from the new state to the old. At the same time, the algorithm, the immediate reward received by the agent for the transition is used in order to augment these propagated values of Q cap. Now let's consider applying this algorithm to the grid world and reward function, which is shown in this diagram. Now the reward is 0 everywhere except when entering the goal state. Okay, since this world contains an absorbing goal state, we will assume that the training consists of series of episodes. During each episode, the agent begins at some randomly chosen state and is allowed to execute its actions until it reaches the absorbing goal state. When it does, the episode ends and the agent is transported to a new randomly chosen initial state for the next episode. Okay, actually how will the values of a Q cap evolve as the Q learning algorithm is applied? In this case is that with all the Q cap values initialized to 0, the agent will make no changes to any Q cap table entry until it happens to reach the goal state and receive a non-zero reward. Okay, this will actually result in refining the Q cap value for the single transition leading into the goal state. And on the next episode, if the agent passes through this state adjacent to the goal states, and its non-zero Q cap value will allow refining the value for some transition 2 steps from the goal, and so on. Given a sufficient number of training episodes, the information will actually propagate from transitions with a non-zero reward back through the entire state action space available to the agent, which is resulting eventually in a Q cap table containing the Q values, okay, which is actually shown in this diagrams. These are the Q values, okay. So now this is what is being given. Q cap of S1 comma action is towards right. Okay, now reward is 0 plus gamma is given as 0.9, okay, and max of 66 comma 81 comma 90. Okay, so now it is moving towards the right. Okay, so 66 comma 81 comma 100. So you choose maximum out of this. Okay, so which gives you 100, so 100 into 0.9, which gives you the updated value as 90. Okay, so this is one simple example on the Q learning. Now let's see, will this algorithm will converge towards a Q cap equal to the true Q function. So the answer is actually yes under some of the certain conditions. So first the assumption that is made here is that the system is a deterministic MDP. Okay, second, we must assume that the immediate reward values are bounded, so that is there exists some positive constant, we call it as a C, such that for all states S and actions A, that is R of S comma A is less than C. Okay, and the third is that we assume that the agent selects actions in such a fashion that it visits every possible state action pair infinitely often. So by this third condition, we mean that if action A is a legal action from state S, then over the time the agent must execute action A from state S repeatedly and with non-zero frequency as the length of its action sequence approaches the infinitely here. So these conditions are in some way quite general, and in others they are fairly restrictive. Okay, so these are some experimental strategies we have. Okay, one obvious strategy for an agent in state is to select the action A that maximizes q cap of s comma a, thereby exploiting its current approximation q cap. Okay, so however with this strategy the agent chances of agent okay being in a risk that it will overcommit the actions that are found during early training to have a high q values, while failing to explore other actions that have got even higher values here. So because of these reasons, the q learning uses a probabilistic approach to selecting the actions. Okay, actions with higher q cap values are assigned higher probabilities, but every action is assigned a non-zero probability here. Okay, so one way in which we can assign probabilities, probability of ai given s is given as the kernel function k q cap of s comma I divided by summation of k of q cap of s comma aj. Here summation is over all the j or jth units. Okay, so this is on the q learnings. It is very important with respect to the examination. You might get a question on the q example for the q learning and algorithm might be asked. So the remaining topics will be covered in the next sessions. Thank you.